So this is the second in our short series, Do You Have Enough Time and How Much Time Do You Have? So the first was to get you a little warmed up on the floor. So this one we're going to start in downward facing dog. So go ahead and join me in your downward facing dog. Taking your hands as wide as you need them to be. Shake your head out yes and no. Maybe walk your feet further back, bend your knees, take your hips up. Straighten out those legs. And come up on your toes, lengthen out. And then go ahead and bend your knees, walk yourself up. Forward fold. So just kind of hang out here. If you're tight and it's first thing in the morning, you can always bend your knees and kind of relax. And then inhale, come halfway up, hands to shins or to the thighs. If you have enough length in your hamstrings, you can always take your fingers down to the floor. And then exhale, fold. 2 more times, kind of finding your way here. Maybe it's early, you're kind of stiff. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep your arms all the way up to the top. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. So go ahead and take a few breaths here. Find your feet. What I mean by that is make sure that your feet are really firmly placed into the floor, that the toes are far enough apart. Make sure that your hips are engaged, your inner thighs are engaged. Roll the shoulders down and back. And then inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Go ahead and grab hold of that left wrist with your right hand and pull a little bit over to the right. Inhale back to center, switch sides, exhale over to the left. Back to center, hands around behind you, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back and go ahead and fold forward. So try to pull those shoulders up and away. Lift those arms as high as you feel comfortable. If your arms go a little bit further over your head, that's okay too. If they just hover right off your back, that's okay too. And exhale, drop those fingertips down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, come up into your chair pose. So lots of people have different versions of chair. We're gonna go ahead and take kind of a lower version of it. Sit our hips down a little bit further. That usually means that your arms come down a little bit lower, and that's okay. Okay, find a nice length in the spine. And then inhale, come all the way up, palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step back into a plank, kneeling or otherwise, and come all the way down to the floor. 3 little cobras. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down. Each one getting progressively a little bit deeper. Exhale, down. Inhale your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, take that right leg straight up and back. Bend the knee, open up the hip a little bit. And exhale, swing that right leg all the way through in between your hands. Drop your left knee, come into your low lunge. So if you have some knee issues on that back knee, you can always place something underneath it like a towel or a prop. If not, go ahead and walk that right foot out a little bit further so that you have knee over ankle. Okay? Hands on hips, kind of sink those hips down. Maybe you find you can walk that foot further forward, sink a little deeper. We try not to take that knee too far over the ankle at any point in time, just to keep the knee joint safe, okay? Roll the shoulders back. And then go ahead and take both hands to the inside of that right foot. Right foot walks a little bit over to the right. You can come out on the right outside edge or keep the foot flat. You can come down onto forearms or elbows, whatever feels good for you. This is about as far as I go. But think long spine, so kind of stretch out through the crown of the head and then bring yourself down a little bit lower. If your knee is still bothering you a little bit, you can keep those back toes flexed. You can also press into the toes and lift that knee off if you want a little bit more. So knee down is gecko pose, knee up is lizard, because apparently geckos have shorter tails. One more deep breath here. Go ahead and drop that knee down if you have it lifted. Walk that right foot back in. Lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, palms down, step back to your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, take that left leg straight up and back. Bend the knee, open up the hip, keep the shoulders level. Exhale, swing that left leg all the way through. If it doesn't make it, you can grab the ankle, put it where you want it, drop your right knee down, come up nice and tall. Okay. Walk that foot forward a little bit further, or the back knee back. Flipping the toes once again, take some of the pressure off of that knee. Sink the hips down, roll the shoulders back. So if at any point in time downward facing dog is not your friend, or it just simply isn't your friend to begin with, you can always come into child's pose with big toes together, knees apart, flat on the floor. Take a little break there. It's always a resting pose option. Sink the hips a little bit lower. Maybe you walk that foot further forward. Just another breath here. Getting deep into the hips, getting a little hip opening, front of thigh opening, hip flexors right down the front. Go ahead and walk both hands to the inside of that left foot. Walk the left foot over to the left. Roll onto the outside edge if that feels good for you or not. Then stay flat. Inhale, lift and lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, come down. Once again here, you can stay here with the knee down for gecko. Lift the knee up for lizard. Maybe you're feeling you need a little extra something today, I don't know. Always do what works for you. And then if you brought that knee up, go ahead and drop the knee down. Walk that foot back to the center. Lift up through the crown of the head. Exhale, palms down. Step back into either downward facing dog or child's pose, your choice. On an inhale, wherever you're at, you're gonna rock forward just a little bit, bring that right knee over to that right wrist, and come into pigeon. Pigeon, the great hip opener, right? So a little variation to start here. We're gonna start with the foot flat. We're gonna lift up into the higher pigeon with the nice rounded back. So you may have seen more of kind of like the resting pigeon. We're gonna drop that left hip down, roll the shoulders back. Okay. And then go ahead and walk your hands out to wherever you want to go. You're gonna flip those back toes, lift the knee off the floor. Okay. So maybe you can come your forehead all the way down to the floor, your arms out straight. Maybe you're up a little bit higher on wrists or hands or fists or cupcake hands, whatever it may be. Think of lengthening the spine, so lifting up through the crown of the head. And then drop that knee down. Pop those toes back over. Come back up. Lift up and lengthen. And then back to your downward facing dog. Reset for side two, right? Rock forward a little bit. Bring that left knee over. Walk that right leg back. I can always tell when it's morning because I'm really stiff, right? Aren't we all? So go ahead and drop that right hip down. I feel I'm definitely more the Tin Man than Gumby every single day. Okay. Lift and lengthen. This is why I do yoga. Exactly, right? It's probably why you do yoga. And then go ahead and fold yourself down to wherever you want to be. Flip those back toes under. Lift that knee off the floor. Reach out through the crown of the head. Come to wherever you feel comfortable. 3 deep breaths. Drop the knee down, flip the toes flat, walk your fingers up onto cupcake fingers, lift and lengthen, and then palms down, back to your downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look up at your hands, hop, walk, step up to the top of your mat, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the top. And exhale, hands to heart. Go ahead and take a few breaths here in mountain pose. So you can stay here and take a few moments for meditation and some breath. Or if you're playing this series playlist, you'll be moving on to the next. If not, this is the end of your practice. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again on YouTube soon. Namaste.